hear the beat, it's in my chest, got me feeling some kind of way. I confess the rhythm takes over. No room to.
Good morning, class. Good morning, Mrs. Walker. Well, I'm glad to see you all here today. Listen, we were supposed to have our math quiz today, but I decided we're not going to have it today. Yay! Wait, why? I'm just not feeling that great. You guys could study whatever you want. Maybe you should go to the nurse if you're sick. Hannah, I appreciate your concern, but I think it's just a cold. Well, if it's just a cold, how come you won't teach us? Look, I know it's every student's dream to go to class, do nothing, and pass, so live up to that dream. Okay. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. I mean, she's not feeling well. Yeah, I know, but something tells me. Tells you what? Nothing. Mom, I'm home. In here, honey. Hey, Mom. Hi, honey. How was school? It was okay. You don't sound like you had a good day. It's not that. It's just I'm worried about Mrs. Walker. Your teacher? Yeah. How come, honey? I don't know. She wasn't feeling well today. She didn't even want to teach us. We spent the whole day chatting and everything. We didn't get much work done at all. And you're complaining about this? Well, not necessarily. I mean, it was cool that we had a free day. But, you know, I'm still concerned about Mrs. Walker. Well, it's nice that you're concerned, honey, but I'm sure it's just a cold. Yeah, that's probably it. Mrs. Walker never gets sick. She probably does just have a cold. All right. Do you have homework? Mom, didn't I just tell you that we didn't do anything in school today? All right, well, you go and hang out in your room then. Just don't bother your sister. She's trying to study for a test. Okay. Okay, so the hip bone is connected to the... Hey, Maria. Hey. What are you doing? I'm studying. I heard Mom tell you that I was trying to study. I'm sorry, it's just I need to talk to you about something. Well, can it wait? And can't you talk to Mom? No. I want to talk to you. Besides, I already talked to Mom. All right, I guess my studying can wait 5 seconds. What is it? And hurry up, I have to study. Well, we had an interesting day in school. Well, we're so interested in it. It was interesting because we didn't have to learn anything. What are you talking about? My teacher, Mrs. Walker, she was sick. So she decided not to teach us. You mean you didn't get a substitute? No. But I'm sure Mrs. Walker just has a cold. You were about to say Addie. Is that her first name? Yeah, but don't tell anybody. Whatever, that's not important. What is important is Mrs. Walker, she is sick. Yeah, she wasn't feeling well, so we had a free day. It was fun. Oh, as long as you're concerned about your teacher. I am concerned about her. But I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed not doing schoolwork. I'm sure you did. Now, will you please leave me alone so I can study? Fine, I'll just go on my computer. Thank you. Come in. Oh, gosh, I am never going to get studying done. Sorry, I'll tell whoever is here to leave. I said come in. Hey! Hi, Maria. How are you? Frustrated. I'm trying to study. Oh, I'm sorry. You could stay, Kendall. Maria, can't you study somewhere else? Gonna have to. Thanks a lot. Oh, my computer. What's with her? I don't know. She has some test coming up and she's trying to study. Well, I didn't mean to disturb her. You didn't. Don't worry about it. So what's up? Well, there was something on my mind and I really wanted to tell you. Why? What's wrong? I'm really worried about Mrs. Walker. Why are you so worried about her? She's gonna be fine. She probably just has a cold. Oh, come on, Hannah. Aren't you worried at least a little bit? Okay, maybe a little. I mean, Mrs. Walker's usually not sick, but that's why I'm not as worried, because it's probably just a cold. She'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, you're right. She'll be okay. Yeah, she will be. Look, did you come all the way over here to talk about Mrs. Walker? No, actually, I wanted to hang out. Great. That's what I was hoping you were here for. Let's go on YouTube on my computer. Okay. This video is so funny. Yeah. Hey, check it out. We have a substitute. We do? Yeah, that hunk over there, writing on the board. Wow. So does that mean Mr. Walker's not in school today? Well, obviously. But isn't it great? We finally get a man teacher. I hate that this is an all-girls school. I don't like it much either, but what's the matter? You're not comfortable with a man teacher? It's not that. I'm just worried about Mrs. Walker. She probably just has a cold, Hannah. Yeah, I guess.
Good morning, class.
Good morning.
My name is Mr. Powers, and I'm going to be your substitute teacher for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you said the rest of the year?
Yeah, the teacher decided to take a year or two off.
She didn't even say goodbye to us. Yeah, what is with that? Yeah, what's up with that?
All right, I might as well tell you.
Tell us what?
Your teacher, Mrs. Walker, she thought she had just a cold, but she went to the doctor and she was diagnosed with cancer.
Cancer? Oh my God, are you serious?
Wish I wasn't serious, but I'm serious.
When are we gonna see her? Like, what if she dies before we see her?
Let's not jump to conclusions. Chemotherapy has made a lot of progress since I was a kid.
No offense, but what do you have to do with it?
'Cause I had leukemia as a kid. I almost didn't make it, but here I am today. Your teacher will be fine. She just has to take time off to recover. Now come on, let's open our MacBooks.
God. Hey, Mom. What's the matter? Mrs. Walker wasn't in today. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I know how much you like Mrs. Walker. She must have been sick. She's more than sick, Mom. What do you mean? Our substitute teacher, he told us that Mrs. Walker had cancer, and she wouldn't be in for the rest of the year. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mrs. Walker's really nice. It's not fair that this has to happen to her. I know, honey. But modern medicine's getting better every day. Oh, my God, that's what Mr. Powers said. Who? My substitute, Mr. Powers. How do you like him? It's okay, I guess, but he's no Mrs. Walker. Well, of course not. He's a boy. Mom! Okay, look, I'm sorry. Honey, I know you're worried about Mrs. Walker, but I'm sure she'll be fine. Mom, you don't get it. Mrs. Walker's never been sick in a day in her life, and suddenly she gets cancer thrown on her. And didn't Grandma die of cancer? Honey, that was years ago. So? She still had it, and she still died. I know, honey, but try not to worry about it. I have homework. Hey, what's wrong? Bad day at school? I guess you could say that. Why, what happened? Mrs. Walker wasn't in school again today. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm sure she'll be back soon. I mean, you said so herself. Mrs. Walker never gets sick. Well, she is sick. Okay, but she'll be back in a day. No, she does. No, she won't. What are you getting so upset about? Because Mrs. Walker has cancer. She does? Yeah. Like you care. Of course I care that she has cancer. She was my teacher when I was your age. And why are you getting mad at me? I'm not mad at you. I'm sorry. It's just I'm really worried about her. Well, of course you're worried about her. Yeah, I really want her to get better. But Mr. Powers, ooh, who's Mr. Powers? This isn't funny, Maria. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just asking you who Mr. Powers is. He's our teacher for the rest of the year. Hey, at least you have a boy you can flirt with. Maria, this is not funny. Can you please just be serious about this? I'm sorry. But I think you're making a big deal out of nothing. You think I'm making a big deal over nothing when I'm making a big deal out of Mrs. Walker possibly dying? Nobody said Mrs. Walker was going to die, Hannah. I know, but Grandma died of cancer. What if Mrs. Walker does too? What if she doesn't? You know, you just don't get it. Of course I get it. I was upset when Grandma died. Exactly. And you said yourself that you loved Mrs. Walker, that she was a good teacher, and that you had her when you were my age. And now all of a sudden she has cancer and you're just shrugging it off. I'm not shrugging it off. I'm just having faith that she's going to get better. But what if she doesn't? You can't keep worrying about stuff like that, Hannah. Whatever happens, happens. I know. Oh, Hannah. Hannah, get up. Who said that? Hannah? Mrs. Walker! Oh my gosh, what are you doing here? I came to say goodbye. What do you mean goodbye? I'm sorry, honey, but I'm not going to be around anymore. When are you going to be back? I'm never going to be back. I'm sorry, but I have to go. Wait, Mrs. Walker! Mrs. Walker! Mrs. Walker! Oh, it's such a bad dream. Maria, are you awake? Shh. Of course she's not. Come in. Hi, Heather. Hi. How was school? It was okay, but is Hannah okay? Hannah's very upset. About what? About what happened to your teacher. She didn't want to go to school today. And you let her play hooky? Look at her mom right. Look, I'm not in the mood for this, okay? What are you doing here? I wanted to see how Hannah was doing. I mean, like you said, she wasn't in school, and Hannah usually likes school, so I'm concerned that she wasn't there. I mean, at first I thought she was sick, but now that I'm listening to you, Hannah's not really sick, is she? No, but she was too upset to go to school, and I wasn't going to force her to go. Because I know as well as you do that Hannah loves school. So if she didn't want to go, I knew something was wrong. Can I go talk to her? She's in her room. Thanks. Come in. Hi, Hannah. Hey. I missed you in school today. Yeah. How come you didn't go? I don't know. I guess I didn't feel like it. Your mom said that you're really upset about Mrs. Walker. Well, of course I'm upset about Mrs. Walker. Kendall, you don't understand. She has cancer. I know she has cancer. But do you think she would want you to skip school just because she's not there? I don't know. Of course you do. Now, you and I both know that you didn't really want to stay home today. You were just afraid to face people. Because you didn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about this either. We're going to talk about it. We all have to do something we don't want to do once in a while. Now, seriously, Hannah, do you really think that Mrs. Walker would want you to skip school just because she's not there? I don't know. Of course she wouldn't. And you know that. Staying home isn't going to make Mrs. Walker feel better. I know, but she would want you to get on with your life. But I can't. She was a great teacher, and I'm going to miss her. We're all going to miss Mrs. Walker. But she's not going to be our teacher anymore, but staying home isn't going to change that. Besides, Mr. Powers is pretty cute, don't you think? Yeah, not bad. Are you going to go back to school tomorrow? I'll go back. But I'm not doing it for you. Good, just do it for yourself. Okay, I'll do it for myself. And for Mrs. Walker. Great.
I hear the beat. It's in my chest. Got me feeling some kind of way. I confess the rhythm takes over. No room to rest. My heart's dancing. It's a love conquest.